What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
The voice was so familiar and comforting that just hearing it made him feel at ease. As a result, Gabil consented without hesitation. The result was spectacular.
You made the correct decision. The Lucky Devil unique skill will be sacrificed to grant you new abilities.
Gabil gained a new power as soon as the voice vanished. Psychology King Moodmaker is the ultimate skill. The skill Ciel bestowed had the following 5 effects: Change Destiny, Thought Acceleration, Unexpected Effects, Spatial Manipulation, and Multi-Layer Barrier. Thought Acceleration boosted his perceptive speed by 1,000,000. Change Destiny was an improved version of Lucky Devil's Change Fate, and could be used at Gabil's discretion. However, use was still restricted to once per day. Unforeseen Effects was also a better version of the Lucky Devil's ability, Unexpected Effects. It enabled the user to utilize the increased attack strength at their leisure. The amount it rose, though, was still determined by the user's attitude. When one was in a good mood, he may use this ability to boost his attack power. Spatial Manipulation was a skill that the executives led by Benimaru could utilize. Its primary function was spatial transportation, and it was a helpful skill that allowed one to roam freely in an area he had previously visited, as long as the space was not obstructed. By interfering with space, one could hope to be able to prevent adversaries from fleeing. It was a helpful ability. Rimuru specialized in the multi-layer barrier defensive technique. It was possible to prepare for any attack by building barriers of varying effects. Gabil was able to use Rimuru's power after accepting it. Gabil finally understood the effects of previously thought to be useless skills. Ciel taught it to him during his accelerated thought period, which had been stretched 1,000,000 times over. Gabil was brought to tears. He couldn't stop himself from speaking.
It's incredible, so incredible. I don't think I can lose.
He was getting carried away, but it was the correct thing to do in Gabil's case. Gabil chuckled, dispelling the dismal atmosphere. Gabil's power expanded dramatically, as if in proportion.
What the hell is wrong with you? Your strength has unexpectedly grown. What in the world did you do?
It's too bad for you, but I have a fantastic leader. There is no way I can be defeated as long as I have his protection.
Gabil, who may have been defeated depending on the situation, spoke proudly in an upbeat tone. Gabil's body began to brim with power at the same time. It was difficult to break his momentum once he had begun.
Now, prepare yourself.
Stop talking nonsense. I will carve my power into your body.
Both men, who were akin to awakened demon lords, collided with their entire force, and Gabil won the battle a split second later. Gabil's vortex spear deflected the Azure Dragon Spear, which had been released with all of Baraga's strength. This opened a big gap, and Gabil stabbed a huge hole in Baraga's chest before he could reclaim his posture.
No, not yet. A wound of this magnitude, with my healing abilities.
Yes, Baraga had inherited the Beastman's tremendous healing power, and he could treat some wounds rapidly by refilling the energy from his followers. This time, Baraga attempted to use it as well. That, however, was not to be. To Gabil's own astonishment, the fusion of Change Destiny and Unexpected Effects was instantly activated, removing Baraga's capacity for healing. Change Destiny could only be used once each day against the same target. As a result, it was discovered that it could also be utilized against opponents. As Baraga himself had stated, those who lose their common sense are the ones who are first to die on the battlefield.
Wow, it's a lot stronger than I expected.
So, with his newly acquired skills, Gabil triumphed. Meanwhile, Black Tortoise, Gozarin, the last of the 3 remaining generals, was up against an unexpectedly powerful foe. The Magic Beast Corps was in disarray after the defeat of the Legion leader Gladium. A massive army of demons arrived before they could put things together. It was referred to as a massive army, but the number of people involved was actually quite small. They were barely approximately 500 in number. Their caliber, on the other hand, was worthy of being termed a match for the thousands. The Devil Chevaliers were high-ranking demon knights, a fearsome war group under the direct command of Demon Lord Rimuru. The Chimera Knights possessed about double the amount of magicules, but they were unable to win the battle. That's how strong the devils were. As things did not go her way, Gozarin's annoyance rose. The tragic moment arrived in the midst of this situation. Gozarin caught sight of a moving shadow out of the corner of her eye. A weird feeling appealed to her instincts for some reason. Gozarin turned her gaze away from the battlefield and focused on the shadow, trying to figure out what it was. It was the correct decision. If she had ignored the shadow, Gozarin would have perished without knowing what had transpired. However, Gozarin could have preferred to die without knowing. The shadow moved near the debris of Demon Colossus. The shadow stepped up in front of Gozarin, who was looking to see what was going on. It was an attractive male with a bare upper body and waist-length black hair. His skin was dark brown with a gloss to it. He appeared to be made of metal. No, he was fused with the remnants of the Demon Colossus from the waist down. The wreckage melted and changed shape right in front of Gozarin's eyes. The man's lower body was likewise finished.
Hello, I'm naked. How humiliating.
The tone of voice was extremely similar to the man Gozarin had just fought.
I can't believe it, but are you Master Gadra?
Gozarin inquired, and the man smiled.
It's obviously me, or did you believe you'd already won? That's correct. I would never accept it.
Yes, Master Gadra was the mystery nude man.
What are you talking about? You were killed by a self-destructing spell. How are you still alive when that spell was supposed to end your life?
Gozarin yelled. Her understanding had not yet caught up with the circumstances, but hearing Gadra's remarks made her even more perplexed. She attempted to redirect the flow of the talk, reasoning that being swept along by Gadra's pace would be a bad idea.
Oh, sure, I recall now. I did blow myself up with sacrifice, didn't I? Did you believe I was dead? For a man like me, however, it is not feasible to commit suicide. You should not rest and assume that you have won until the struggle is over.
Gadra used magic to manufacture a garment and rapidly put it on while he spoke. It was a terrible suit, but it was better than being nude, he reasoned.
Enough of this nonsense. Please answer my question.
Gozarin, on the other hand, was eager to get rid of Gadra. She was cautious, though, because a person who was meant to be entirely dead had resurrected. She wasn't even sure Gadra would answer truthfully. That's why, regardless of Gadra's response, Gozarin was going to focus all of her energy on her next attack.
After all, it is the old man. So, I'm sure he has some bizarre trick up his sleeve. Maybe he made a substitute sacrifice. He's attempting to irritate me, but he's pulling a clever ruse. However, I'm confident that I'll be able to defeat this little trick with my own might.
Despite its look, Gozarin's magisteel body was exceedingly heavy. As a result, even if one hit her at a particular speed, she could still demonstrate its strength. Furthermore, if Gozarin performed a Koshuha Senjutsu, high-frequency thousand-hand slash, with her tentacles all over her body, she would transform into a living bullet capable of pulverizing anything she touched. Gozarin concentrated all of her energy on her legs. She utilized herself like a cannonball to propel herself by blasting the soil. This was Gozarin's second lethal move. Gozarin aimed at Gadra. Gadra, unaware of this, began to explain respectfully.
That's right, I was reincarnated. Reincarnation, the mystical art I created, was set up in advance. As long as I use this, I'll be able to start a new life with my memories intact, even if it means saying goodbye to this world for a while. It's a fantastic secret.
And then what?
The success rate is low, but the relative returns are excellent. I've also been reincarnated numerous times, so success is virtually always guaranteed.
In fact, the first time this was attempted, the success rate was at its lowest. Adelmon's failure at the time was not due to Gadra's lack of ability. Gadra had prepared numerous spells in preparation, ready to be cast at any time. Raisin, for example, could only prepare 1 or 2 spells at a time, whereas Gadra could always have 3 or more spells ready. A transfer spell for eluding capture and a self-destructive spell for committing suicide. He'd never forgotten to do the reincarnation magic in case he died. Gadra was a careful person, yet something unexpected had happened this time. His soul slid out of his body as reincarnation was activated. The soul, shielded by magic, was intended to return to the wheel of reincarnation in quest of a new body. At this time, though, a promise had been made. Gadra had really applied to be Diablo's disciple, but that had been placed on hold. Normally, this would have resulted in an instant rejection, but Diablo had liked Gadra. Diablo had taken an interest in Gadra after admiring Rimuru magic.
I have nothing against intriguing men like you. I will accept you as my dependent once I see that you are actually valuable to Sir Rimuru.
That's what he said during the banquet. Gadra believed it was a courteous excuse to reject him, but he still intended to make every effort to be accepted by Diablo. However, by that point, he had succumbed to Diablo's temptation. Gadra's reincarnation was thus rewritten. He would be reborn as a demon if he chose to die for Rimuru. And demons were a race endowed with the power to battle from birth. Gadra was born as a remarkable individual after becoming a demon since he possessed a lifetime of his memories. His body was the problem. A demon, a spiritual life form, required a body in order to exist in this world. Gadra would normally have needed to possess someone or contact Diablo and wait for him to summon him. However, with the birth of Ciel in Rimuru's consciousness, the fate of the world was also decided here.
If you want a physical body, I'll give you one. I will also increase your power. This is why.
The voice instructed him to serve Rimuru. This was the nicest thing that could have happened to Gadra, in his opinion. Of course, he exclaimed emphatically. The bargain was therefore fulfilled, and Gadra was successfully reincarnated. He was reincarnated as a metal demon, a new race. His body was dressed in black, as if to demonstrate his status as a black dependent. His hair, eyes, and exposed skin were all black. Nevertheless, he had a metallic sheen that gave him a somewhat artificial air. This person, however, was not the genuine Gadra, but rather a clone of his younger self, his first existence before being resurrected. Nothing about his race was involved. It was reconstructed from the memories etched in his soul. Perhaps he did not have the constraints of the demon race because he was of a new race. Gadra's current magicule count was comparable to Clayman's when he was rampaging. Add to it his prior knowledge and experience, and there was no doubt that he had grown considerably stronger. Gadra himself felt as if he had been reincarnated. He couldn't help but be talkative and speak to Gozarin, as if to savor the emotion.
In other words, you've become something unheard of, like a metal demon.
That's the way it is. Beware, I've grown stronger. You don't stand a chance, so give up. I will spare your life as a former coworker.
All I can say is that you're a moron.
Gozarin hurried towards Gadra, well prepared and ready for an opening. The incredible speed transformed Gozarin's body into a gigantic bullet. Gadra was not going to be able to deal with this. Gozarin thought so, but then her eyes widened in shock. She was surprised when she diverged from Gadra's path without any intention of her own.
It's mysterious, isn't it? To put it simply, I used magic to manipulate the magnetic field and produce a powerful magnetic field. It is now conceivable to electromagnetically stimulate an object by putting an electric current through it.
The object in this case was Gozarin. Gadra, who had studied the science of the otherworld, had several magical abilities. In other words, Gadra might readily seal Gozarin's inner workings.
You.
Gadra stood aloofly, holding a huge book in his left hand. He was gently turning the pages with his right hand.
Well, do you see what I'm capable of now? You should resign and give up.
Gozarin mistook these words for condescension. Gadra didn't mean it that way, but Gozarin's pride as a formidable foe had been harmed. That was why surrender was out of the question.
Episode 22, Jinwoo's mysterious disappearance and powerful new loot. Jinwoo vanishes without a trace, leaving everyone in shock. But when he returns, he's armed with new, powerful loot. Don't miss episode 22. Tune in now for mysteries and game-changing surprises.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Jared Bressler, Chadvo Ta, Chris Guzman, Havox, Speed Saber, James Waters, Arijit Das, Curtis Loban, Judah Herrera, Just a Guy, Stone Larone, Chris Kaalim. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.